We are seeing a number of different altcoins breaking out over the past couple of weeks, but is it altcoin season just yet? That is the question we're answering in today's video. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gordon Frayne. As always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below, hit that subscribe button as well, and if you want to get notified about similar videos, smash that bell notification icon, and don't forget to grab your free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. There's a link for it down below this video in the description. Grab it now while it's free. It is my gift to you, and let's get into the video. So, as we just mentioned, we've seen a number of different tokens breaking out over the course of the past couple of weeks. We've seen the likes of SUI making big moves to the upside. Zooming into the daily chart here, we can see breaking out of this downtrend here, in the beginning to middle of August, and we've shot all the way up from, 65 cents around this level to $1.61 here at the very end of September 2024. We're seeing other tokens like Tau, BitTensor Tau, with a huge breakout. Look at this price action here over the course of the past 7 to 10 days, going from prices at $230 just 2 weeks ago to above $550 here today. We're also seeing tokens like Arrow having nice breakouts as well, breaking out of that downward channel or that downtrend once again here just a few days ago, going from prices around 63 cents all the way up to 91 cents as well. So lots of these altcoins are now beginning to break out of this downtrend that they have been in, since this kind of end of March time period. We saw Bitcoin making big moves to the upside, and we saw a lot of the alts following suit in, hot pursuit of Bitcoin and outperforming Bitcoin on a percentage basis. But as Bitcoin dropped, after hitting those $73,000 highs, altcoins dropped significantly and also dropped, even harder on a percentage basis than Bitcoin, a lot of them retracing as much as 50% in that time period and even more. So we're seeing the breakout of alts, from these downward trends, but is it altcoin season just yet? And for me, the answer is no. But that doesn't mean that altcoins can continue to make great gains, as we're seeing with the likes of SUI and Tau and Arrow, for example. But Bitcoin is back at these kind of $63,500 levels, which is great to see. But again, if we jump over to the Bitcoin dominance chart, we can see here that dominance, if we zoom out to the weekly time frame, we can see that dominance has been testing this 57-58% level here for the past number of weeks, and this level acted as support all the way back in July and August of 2020, before Bitcoin made higher moves on a percentage basis in terms of Bitcoin dominance at the end of 2020, before breaking down at the beginning of 2021 and eventually breaking through this previous level of support to the downside. And this was really when we saw the altcoin season of 2021. We saw huge gains for, tokens like Cake. We saw tokens like Polygon Matic making very big moves to the upside. And all of that was correlated with Bitcoin breaking downwards in price. And in dominance, not in price. And we saw that go all the way down to dominance levels of around, the low 40s, high 30s. And then again, since the beginning of 2023, we've had Bitcoin dominance on a very big uptrend, going all the way up to this kind of 57-58% level, where it has been testing this level of resistance, which was previously support, has now turned into resistance. And you can see that on the weekly time frame, we've kind of tested this level for about 6-7 weeks in a row now. We haven't broken through it fully to the upside or gone beyond, this 58.5% level. And, what I'm anticipating for a full-on altcoin season to really take effect would be Bitcoin dominance breaking to the downside, just like it did all the way back at the beginning of 2021. And that would look like, movement in this direction, for a sustained period of time, for a sustained number of weeks and months. Now, I'm not expecting that to happen in the next week or two, but I do think by the time we get towards the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, I do think we might start to see a breakdown in dominance when alts really do begin to run, but it may not be as sharp as a downtrend as we saw in the previous cycle. Bitcoin dominance, has been very strong. This uptrend has been super intact since, going all the way back to the end of 2022. And this uptrend has not, faltered. It's been super, super strong. And it's looking even stronger than it was back, during the time period in 2019 and 2020 in terms of just the general trend to the upside. So we may not see a, as strong of a breakdown in Bitcoin dominance by the time we get to the end of this year and into 2025. But, if we cannot break through this 58% level here and move beyond it, that would signal to me that we might be getting towards a stage of exhaustion for Bitcoin trying to break through this level. And if it ultimately cannot do that, how many attempts are we going to see before it does eventually break towards the downside? So again, I'm keeping an eye on this as we move towards, the end of this year and the beginning of 2025. And the others dominance chart is also worth keeping an eye on, because others dominance is basically the dominance of the entire market outside of the top 10 cryptos. And once again, this is kind of looking like the inverse of the Bitcoin dominance chart, because if we go back to the beginning of 2021, we can see how others dominance, grew in this kind of parabolic fashion throughout the first half of 2021. So as we were seeing a breakdown in Bitcoin dominance, we were seeing a breakout in terms of others dominance to the upside, and huge amounts of gains being made for altcoins here. We did get a small retracement before going again for the next leg up towards the end of 2021. But, all of this was happening in conjunction with Bitcoin's dominance breaking to the downside. So again, I'm keeping an eye on others dominance here. And if we come back over to where we are today, we're seeing a little bit of a consolidation happening here, and potentially with looking towards the end of this year, again, end of 2024, beginning of 2025, I would anticipate, this dominance breaking to the upside once we get, some form of altcoin season where we see, altcoins really breaking to the upside and outperforming Bitcoin significantly on a percentage basis. Again, the other tool I like to keep an eye on here is the Altcoin Season Index over at blockchaincenter.net. And again, this is giving us, roughly the same data, but it helps to visualize the information in a slightly different way. If we look at altcoin season, we can see that, it's more of a Bitcoin month than an altcoin month. And once we do get to a true altcoin season, this number will rise from 33 going towards the altcoin season end of the spectrum, up towards 70, 80, 90 in terms of the altcoin score. If we look at it on a monthly basis, we can see that, altcoins have been performing better over the past month, but it's still more of a Bitcoin strong month. And again, keeping an eye on this index here helps us to visualize once again where that dominance is happening. So when the trend line is closer towards the bottom here, it's obviously more of a Bitcoin strong month. And as we look and move towards the upside, it is more of an altcoin strong month. So, we're pretty much right in the middle here at the moment in terms of the monthly performance at a score of 45. So again, I would be anticipating us moving, up to these kind of levels for it truly to be, an altcoin month or an altcoin season. So, I think we're going to start seeing parabolic moves. I think there's a lot of things, lining up quite nicely in terms of rate cuts that we got a couple of weeks ago, in terms of more stimulus being introduced in China and rate cuts happening there as well. And, all of this is signaling more liquidity on a global basis. More people will be looking to allocate capital towards risk on assets. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen over the course of the next few weeks and months as we move towards the end of 2024 and as we move into the beginning of 2025. Global liquidity is increasing. More of that capital flowing to risk on assets signals more capital flowing into Bitcoin, and then people rotating in and out of other altcoins thereafter once Bitcoin truly moves into price discovery above previous all-time highs. We'll be keeping you up to date with everything and all the movements in the markets here on the channel. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to get notified. Hit that bell notification icon. And if you enjoy the content, guys, it's really helpful if you drop a thumbs up on the video below. It's super helpful for the algorithm. I really do appreciate it. And once again, you can grab a completely free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. There's a link below this video in the description. Grab it while it's free. Give us a thumbs up on the video, and we'll catch you in the next one.